welcome to my channel. So today I read another Japanese folktale. So the title is Shitakiri Suzume in Japanese, and the English title is The Tongue Cut Sparrow. So I draw another picture. So let's get started. The Tongue Cut Sparrow. Part 1. A small sparrow and a kind old man. Long ago, in a quiet village surrounded by soft green mountains, there lived an old man and an old woman. Their house was small and simple. It stood near a narrow path where the wind gently passed through. In the morning, the birds would sing. In the evening, the sky would turn a warm orange. The old man was kind and gentle. He spoke softly, and he always smiled. The old woman, however, was very different. She was often hungry. Her voice was sharp, and she did not like small troubles. The old man loved small things. He loved the sound of leaves. He loved the smell of fresh rice. And most of all, he loved a tiny sparrow. One quiet day, he found the sparrow near the road. It was very small. Its feathers were soft and light brown. It looked weak and tired. "Oh, what happened to you?" the old man whispered. The sparrow did not move much. It only looked at him with small, dark eyes. The old man gently picked it up. He held it carefully, as if it might disappear. "Don't worry," he said softly. "I will take care of you." He brought the sparrow home. The old woman looked at him and frowned. "What is that?" she said. "It is a little sparrow," the old man replied. "It looks hurt. I will help it." The old woman clicked her tongue. We don't need a bird in this house." But the old man did not listen. He prepared a small place near the window. He gave the sparrow a little water. He gave it some grains of rice. The sparrow slowly began to eat. Day by day, the sparrow became stronger. It began to move. It began to hop. And soon, it began to sing. Its voice was soft and sweet. It filled the small house with gentle sound. The old man smiled every time he heard it. "That is a beautiful voice," he said. The sparrow seemed happy. It stayed stayed close to him. It followed him around the house. When he walked in the garden, the sparrow sat nearby. When he rested, the sparrow sat on his shoulder. The old man laughed quietly. "You are like family now," he said. But the old woman did not feel the same. She watched the sparrow with narrow eyes. "That bird eats our rice," she muttered. It is useless." One day, the old man had to go to the mountains. "I will gather firewood," he said. The air was calm that morning. A soft wind moved through the trees. The sparrow watched him. "I will come back soon," he told it gently. The sparrow chirped softly as if it understood. The old man walked slowly down the path. His footsteps faded into the distance. The house became quiet. Only the old woman and the sparrow remained. At first, everything was still. The sparrow hopped near the window. It looked outside. It sang a small song. The old woman sighed. "So noisy," she said. She was preparing rice paste. It was thick and white. She needed it for washing clothes. She placed it in a bowl and turned away for a moment. The sparrow looked at the bowl. It tilted its head. It hopped closer. The smell was soft and warm. The sparrow dipped its beak into the paste. It tasted it. It was different from rice, but it was soft and easy to eat. So the sparrow ate a little more, then a little more. The old woman turned back. She saw the sparrow. She saw the empty bowl. Her face became red with anger. "What have you done?" she shouted. The sparrow froze. Its small body trembled. "That was for work," she yelled. "You foolish bird." The sparrow tried to move away, but the old woman was too quick. She grabbed it. "Bad bird, bad bird," the sparrow chirped in fear. It struggled in her hands, but she did not stop. "You deserve to be punished," she said coldly. And then she took a pair of scissors. The room became very still. Even the wind outside seemed to stop. The sparrow looked at her with wide eyes. "Please," its tiny voice seemed to say. But the old woman did not listen. With one sharp motion, she cut the sparrow's tongue. The sound was small, but it felt very heavy. The sparrow cried out softly. Then it fell silent. The old woman opened her hand. "Go away," she said. The sparrow, shaking and weak, flew out of the house. Its wings moved slowly. It disappeared into the quiet sky. The house became still again. Only the empty bowl remained on the table. Part 2. The journey to find the sparrow. The sun slowly moved across the sky. The soft light of morning became warm afternoon light. At last, the old man returned from the mountains. He carried a bundle of firewood on his back. His steps were slow but peaceful. "I am home," he said gently. There was no answer. The house felt quiet. Too quiet. The old man looked around. His eyes searched the room. "Little sparrow," he called softly. There was no small chirp, no gentle sound, only silence. He set down the firewood. "Where are you?" he asked again. The old woman sat in the corner. Her face looked the same as always, but her voice was cold. "That bird," she said, "it is gone." The old man turned to her. "Gone?" he repeated. "Yes," she said. "It caused trouble." The old man felt a small pain in his chest. "What do you mean?" he asked quietly. The old woman crossed her arms. "It ate the rice paste I made," she said. "So I punished it." The old man's face slowly changed. "Punished?" he whispered. The old woman looked away. "I cut its tongue," she said simply. The words fell heavily into the room. The old man stood very still. He could not speak for a moment. "You cut its tongue?" he said again. His voice was soft, but it trembled. The old woman shuggled. "It was just a bird," she said. "It deserved it." The old man lowered his head. The room felt colder now. He imagined the small sparrow. Its soft feathers, its gentle voice. Now it could no longer sing. A deep sadness filled his heart. "That poor little sparrow," he whispered. He turned toward the door. "I must find it." The old woman frowned. "Find it?" she said. "Why would you do that?" But the old man did not answer. He stepped outside. The air was quiet. The sky was pale and wide. "Little sparrow," he called. His voice carried into the distance. But there was no reply. Still, he did not stop. He began to walk. The path was narrow and soft under his feet. Grass moved gently in the wind. The old man walked slowly. He looked at every tree. He listened to every sound. "Little sparrow," he called again. Sometimes a bird would fly by. Sometimes leaves would rustle. But it was not the sparrow. The sun began to lower. The light turned golden. The shadows grew longer. Still, the old man walked. "I am sorry," he whispered. "I was not there." His voice was full of regret. The wind moved softly around him, as if it were listening. He walked into the forest. Tall trees surrounded him. Their leaves whispered quietly above. The air felt colder here. The sounds were gentle. Far away, water flowed. Somewhere a bird sang, but not the one he was looking for. The old man stopped for a moment. He closed his eyes. "Please, tell me where you are," he said. His voice was almost like prayer. Then, a small sound, very faint, very soft, chirp. The old man opened his eyes. Did I hear? He listened carefully. Again, a small sound, chirp. It came from deeper in the forest. The old man followed the sound. Step by step, slowly. His heart beat a little faster. The trees began to change. They looked older, stronger. Their roots spread wide across the ground. The path became less clear. But still the old man walked. Then suddenly the forest opened. In front of him was a small clearing. And in that clearing, there was a house. It was small but beautiful. The roof was carved. The walls were clean and bright. Soft light came from inside. The old man blinked. "A house in the forest," he said softly. He had never seen it before. The air around it felt different. Quiet, warm, peaceful. He stepped closer. Then the door slowly opened. A small figure appeared. It was a sparrow, but not like the one he knew. This sparrow stood upright. It wore a tiny robe. Its eyes were gentle. The old man looked in surprise. "Ah," he said. The sparrow bowed politely. "Welcome," it said in a soft voice. The old man's eyes widened. "You can speak?" he asked. The sparrow smiled. "Yes," it said. "Please come inside." The old man hesitated. But something felt kinder here. Something felt safe. So he nodded. "Thank you," he said. He stepped into the house. Inside, the room was warm. Soft light filled the space. The floor was clean and smooth. There were small cushions. A gentle smell of tea filled the air. And then more sparrows appeared. They moved quietly. They wore small clothes. They bowed to the old man. "Welcome," they said together. The old man looked around in wonder. "This is a sparrow village?" he asked softly. "Yes," one sparrow replied. "We live here together." The old man's heart felt lighter. But still he looked around carefully. "I am looking for a small sparrow," he said. "It is light brown, very gentle." His voice became softer. "It cannot speak now." The sparrows looked at each other. Then one of them stepped forward. "Please wait here," it said gently. The old man nodded. He sat quietly. His hands rested on his knees. His eyes watched the soft light. His heart beat slowly. Then footsteps. Soft, light. A familiar presence. The old man looked up. And there, standing in the doorway, was a little sparrow. Part 3. A warm welcome and a gentle choice. The old man looked at the sparrow. His eyes became wide, then soft, then full of tears. "Little sparrow," he whispered. The sparrow stood quietly. Its small body was calm. Its eyes were kind. Even though its tongue was gone, it did not look sad. It stepped forward, slowly, gently. The old man reached out his hand. The sparrow hopped onto them. It felt right, warm, alive. "Oh, you are safe," the old man said. His voice trembled. "I am so sorry. I am so sorry." Tears fell quietly from his eyes. The sparrow shook his head softly, as if to say it is all right. Then it chirped, a small sound, not like before, but still gentle, still filled with feeling. The old man smiled through his tears. "Thank you," he said softly. The sparrows gathered around them. Their small voices filled the room. "Please rest," one sparrow said. "You must be tired from your journey." The old man nodded. "Yes, a little," he said. They prepared a place for him, a soft cushion, a low table. Everything was clean and warm. Soon food was brought. Small dishes, carefully made. There was rice. There were vegetables. There was warm soup. The smell was gentle and comforting. "Please eat," the sparrows said. The old man looked at the food, then at the sparrows. "Thank you," he said quietly. He began to eat. Each bite was soft. Each taste was kind. It felt like peace. The sparrow sat beside him. It watched him happily. The old man smiled. "It is very good," he said. The sparrows looked pleased. They moved gently around the room. The light outside slowly changed. Day became evening. Evening became night. The room grew calm. A soft silence filled the space. After the meal, the sparrows prepared a small performance. They gathered in the center of the room. One sparrow began to play music. The sound was light, like wind through leaves. Another sparrow began to dance. Its movements were slow and graceful. The others joined, step by step, softly, like a quiet dream. The old man watched. His eyes followed their gentle movements. His heart felt warm. So beautiful, he whispered. The sparrow beside him chirped softly. It seemed happy, very happy. Time passed quietly. At last, the old man stood. I must return home, he said. The sparrows looked at him. Their eyes were calm. We understand, they said. Then 2 sparrows brought something forward. They carried 2 baskets. One was large. It looked heavy. The other was small. It looked light. These are gifts, they said, for your kindness. The old man blinked. Gifts? He asked. Yes, they said. Please choose one. The old man looked at the basket. The large one was beautiful. It was decorated. It looked full of something. The small one was simple, plain, quiet. The old man thought for a moment. Then he smiled gently. I am old, he said. I cannot carry heavy things. He looked at the small basket. I will take this one. The sparrows nodded. A wise choice. One said softly. They handed him the small basket. It felt light in his hand. Thank you, the old man said. He bowed deeply. The sparrows bowed back. The little sparrow stepped forward again. It looked at him. Its eyes were full of warmth. The old man smiled. Take care, he said. I will not forget you. The sparrow chirped softly. The door opened. The night air was cool and calm. The moon shone gently in the sky. The old man stepped outside. He turned back one more time. The sparrows stood quietly, watching him. Then slowly the door closed. The forest became still again, as if nothing had happened. The old man walked home, step by step. The small basket basket in his hand. The moonlight followed him, soft and silver. The wind moved gently through the trees. His heart felt light, full of quiet joy. At last, he had reached his house. The door creaked as he opened it. "I am home," he said softly. The old woman looked at him. "You are late," she said. The old man nodded. "Yes," he replied. Then he showed her the basket. "This is a gift," he said. The old man's eyes changed. "A gift?" she said. "Yes," the old man said. "From the sparrows." The old woman leaned forward. Her eyes narrowed. "Open it," she said. The old man placed the basket on the floor. He slowly opened it. Inside, a soft light appeared. Then, gold, silver, beautiful clothes, precious things filled the basket. They shone in the quiet room. The old woman gasped. "So much," she whispered. The old man looked surprised, but he did not look greedy. He only smiled softly. "This is too much," he said. Part 4. The Heavy Basket and the Quiet Lesson. The old woman stared at the shining treasure. Gold, silver, soft clothes that glowed in the dim light. Her eyes grew wide. Her breath became a little faster. "All of this from that sparrow?" she whispered. The old man nodded gently. "Yes," he said. "They were very kind." The old woman leaned closer. Her fingers touched the gold. It felt cold and heavy. But to her, it felt exciting. "If this is from the small basket," she said slowly, "then the large one must be even better." The old man looked at her. His face was calm. "I do not think that is important," he said softly. But the old woman did not listen. Her mind was already moving. "I will go," she said suddenly. The old man blinked. "Go?" he asked. "Yes," she said. "I will visit the sparrows too." The old man felt uneasy. "The forest is far," he said, "and the path is not easy." But the old woman stood up. "I will find it," she said firmly. Her voice was sharp again. "I want the large basket." The old man lowered his eyes. He said nothing more. The next morning, the old woman left the house. The sky was pale. The air was still. She walked quickly, faster than the old man had. Her steps were not gentle. They were hard, impatient. "I will find it soon," she muttered. "I will get the best treasure." The wind moved softly around her, but she did not notice. The birds sang in the trees, but she did not listen. She reached the forest. The tall trees stood quietly. Their leaves whispered. The path became narrow, but she kept walking. "Where is that house?" she said. Her voice was loud, not like the old man's soft voice. She walked deeper and deeper. At last, she found the clearing, and there was the small, beautiful house. The same gentle light shone from inside. The old woman smiled. "There it is," she said. She walked straight to the door. Without waiting, she opened it. Inside, the sparrows stand. They looked surprised. The old woman stood there. Her eyes moved quickly around the room. "Where is the gift?" she said. Her voice was sharp. The sparrows looked at each other. Then one stepped forward. "Welcome," it said gently. "Please come inside." The old woman walked in. She did not bow. She did not smile. "Give me the basket," she said. "I know you have them." The sparrows stayed calm. "Please sit," they said softly. "You must be tired." But the old woman shook her head. "No," she said. "I don't need to rest. I want the large basket." The room became very quiet. The sparrows looked at her. Their eyes were gentle, but also a little sad. Still, they did not refuse. At last, 2 sparrows brought the basket. 1 large, 1 small. Please choose, they said. The old woman did not think. She pointed at the large basket. That one, she said quickly. The sparrows nodded slowly. As you wish, they said. They handed her the large basket. It was heavy, very heavy. But the old woman smiled. This must be full of treasure, she said. She turned at once. I am leaving. She did not thank them. She did not look back. The sparrows watched quietly. The old woman walked through the forest. The basket was heavy in her arms. Her steps became slower. But she did not stop. I must get home, she said. I want to see what is inside. The forest felt different now. The air was colder. The shadows were deeper. But still she walked. At last she reached her house. She placed the basket on the floor. Her hands trembled, but not from kindness, from excitement. Now, she whispered. She slowly opened the lid. At first, there was darkness. Then, something moved. A low sound came from inside. Grrrr. The old woman froze. Her eyes widened. What is that? She whispered. Suddenly, the lid flew open. From inside the basket came strange creatures. Dark shapes, sharp eyes, loud, wild voices. They rushed out. The room filled with noise. The old woman screamed. Ah! She fell backward. The creatures moved around her, not touching, but frightening, very frightening. Go away, she cried. But they did not listen. The room felt full of fear, full of chaos. At last, the creatures disappeared. As suddenly as they had come, the room became quiet again. Very quiet. The basket was empty. The old woman sat on the floor. Her body shook. Her breath was uneven. Her face was pale. She looked at the empty basket. then at the silent room. Slowly, the meaning became clear. She had chosen greed. She had not shown kindness. And now she had nothing. The old man watched quietly. He did not speak loudly. He only said, "Kindness brings warmth," he said softly. "But greed brings sorrow." The old woman lowered her head. She said nothing. Outside, the wind moved gently. The sky was calm. Far away, a small sparrow flew. Its wings were light. Its path was free. Even without its voice, it lived peacefully. And somewhere in the quiet forest, the sparrows continued their gentle lives. So, the story is finished. So, thank you for watching. Good night.